Living in a world that is infested with discomforting factors such as illnesses caused by bacteria and viruses, pain caused by accidents and injuries. The question is this all that brings discomfort? The answer is no. Is this all that brings pain, death, and less peace? The answer is still no. If you want to find out about this Warren, come with me as we review the mystery behind this psychological burden, mental strain, or rather mental load. This week again, we continue with another brand new episode entitled From Pressure to Power, Conquering the Stress Enigma, from the series The Power of Hope. Now the question remains, what is stress? Stress is the non-specific response of the body to any demand made upon it. In another sense, how we respond to our respective environments determines the rate of wear and tear on our body. Now, coming to the effects of stress. Stress affects us in different ways. A passionate kiss can cause eustress, which is good stress, in one person, and distress, which is bad stress, in another, or both responses in the same person at different periods of time. And so, like I guessed right, I know you're asking a question: when does stress happen? Now, stress occurs when we are confronted with an event or a series of events, real or imagined, internal or external, which call for a dramatic response. You know what? The stress reaction was actually meant for survival. Now, like we have set the ball rolling, let us begin the understanding from the ancient point of view, then we bring it to our modern days. The question is, how did primitive man or woman confront stress? Now, primitive man or men before civilization and women confronted by a formidable foe, which could be a tiger, dinosaur, or an angry enemy, they prepared to fight or flee, both physically and psychologically. You find that the heart rate, blood pressure, and respiration rate increased, adrenaline was released, blood vessels constricted to prevent any external bleeding, muscles tensed, or adaptive and necessary if you are going to fight a tiger. In our modern days, what are the sources of stress like we have begun? In today's world, however, we are up against a different sort of tiger. Our tigers, listen carefully, are deadlines, inflation, overload, strained relationships, new environments, exams, separation, deaths, and often we can neither fight or flee. Our bodies then are in a state of constant readiness and nothing happens. Nothing except hypertension, cardiovascular disease, ulcers, chronic fatigue, migraine headaches, anxiety attacks, binge eating, and alcoholism. The truth is there are positive and negative stress factors, but let us understand clearly with a clear lens that life is full of stresses and they cannot be avoided. We can, however, begin to counteract our usual interactions to stress and turn around the physical and biochemical processes that occur under stress-producing situations. Apart from all these techniques and other solutions brought forth to view in the scientific and research world, there stands a solution that is drawn from the ancient but ever-present book of life. And I read, quoting from Exodus 20, verse 8, which the Bible indicates clearly by saying, "Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy maidservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates." Verse 11, "For in 6 days the Lord made the earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it." Looking at this powerful, ever-living, almost forgotten fourth commandment, which starts with remember, it is good for each person to reserve 1 day per week for physical, mental, and spiritual rest. Actually, science has discovered that we are created to function in a cycle of 7 days, and this is called circadian rhythm. And so today we can say that by obeying the fourth commandment, we are actually improving our quality of life and avoiding stress. Additionally, we are following the law of life itself when we remember to keep the Sabbath day holy and not any other day. Why? Because after all, the creator of physical and biological laws is the same creator of the spiritual laws. Hence, he is to be followed. With this in mind, we learn from our Creator, Jesus Christ incarnated as a human being, from Luke chapter 4 verse 16, where he goes to the synagogue, where he goes to church, to worship, to rest, to pray, as his custom was in Luke chapter 4 verse 16 as mentioned. We also find that after his ascension, the King of the universe, Jesus Christ himself, left an example to the disciples. And so in Acts chapter 16 verse 13 and Acts chapter 17 verse 2, the disciples, the apostles, and the Christian world continues to remember the Sabbath day, keeping it holy, worshiping on that particular day and not on Sunday, which is unbiblical and not referred anywhere in scripture. Isaiah the prophet also comes with his words of truth and hope. Isaiah 58 verse 13-14 shows us that we should make the Sabbath day of the Lord a delight. And therefore in Isaiah 66 verse 22 and 23, he mentions clearly that this Sabbath day worship will continue even in the earth made new. And so the Sabbath is a present from God each week, and wrap this present